What's going on, guys? I'm Mighty back at the end with the Weekly Raw Skins videos, and today it looks like we've got some pretty cool looking stuff in the shop. We've got a continuation of the No Mercy with the No Mercy Garage Door, continuation of the new Templar, Knight Templar set, and that is the continuation with the road sign now, continuation of the toy set with the new SAR, a new looking skin which is the Scientific Sulfur Storage, which is a sorting skin for large boxes at the moment, continuation of the military set with the military rocket launcher, which is the first weapon. The other previous skins were clothing, or armor I should say, actually, from last week, I'm pretty sure. Then we've got the continuation of the bombing set with the bombing sheet metal door, which looked really sick, and a star hunting bow, which is just random, I'm pretty sure. So let's get started with the clothing and armor, and looking at the Knight Templar kilt vest and the helmet, all going for $2.05. In fact, the helmet is going for $2.05 and the kilt and the vest are both going for $2.75, so that's very interesting. Usually the helmet actually doesn't perform very well, and I would usually recommend investing in that. The least out of the three, the kilt being the most and the road sign vest being the middle, obviously. So overall, it's actually interesting that they've decreased the value of the helmet. They obviously recognize that the helmets don't sell as high or as many, and so that's why they are cheaper in comparison to the kilt and the vest. Plus also they're a lot easier to interchange in game, so you can use a wolf headdress and a bandana instead, and that is probably why they're actually cheaper, because obviously demand isn't as high for them. Overall though, definitely a good thing. Nothing to complain about there, but the fact that the set is going for $2.75, the kilt and the vest that is, I honestly do think that that's a little bit high. The hoodie and pants are now going for $5 and $6. The hoodie going for $5, the pants going for $6, and overall there's obviously good values to be at. I'm just going to also say really quickly, the Templar metal face mask, I'm hoping that you didn't buy it, because if you did, obviously most likely you bought it at a high price, and that's definitely not a good thing. I'd recommend selling the Templar right now before next week. We'll most likely get metal, or at least maybe sometime soon we'll most likely get the Templar metal set, and that does mean that the Templar metal helmet that's currently out on the community market going for $30.70 is obviously going to drop in price. So if you do still have one, I would recommend selling it. But back to the Knight Templar stuff that we have right now. Overall, it does look really nice. It looks pretty unique, and it's actually got a decent amount of demand. The kilt is currently second on the top sellers, vest is third, and the helmet is sixth. So some people are obviously pretty into this new Knight stuff, and overall I actually do think it's going to be pretty successful. I'd recommend getting the kilt, wouldn't really recommend getting the vest, and if you do, I'd recommend getting it with a buy order on the community market, and that is the same for the helmet, just because $2.05 for the helmet in my opinion is too expensive, and $2.75 for the vest is also too expensive. So would recommend getting those two off the community market with the buy order, but I do think that the kilt can make you money, so I'd recommend getting it off of the community market with the buy order, or off of the Rust store if you're not keen on risking it too much. So overall, that is what I'm going to recommend for those items. Moving over to the military rocket launcher, going for $3.45. Overall, I don't think that this is really going to make you a great deal amount of money. In fact, I don't think it's going to make you any money. I'd recommend getting this one off the community market with a buy order. If you are going to invest in it, obviously this military set is going to be a new set, and the weapons are most likely going to continue coming out at the moment. So that is definitely cool. But this is also a semi-pay-to-lose rocket launcher skin in my opinion. Obviously it's got that little glowing screen, and so people are going to be able to see you while you're running around with your rockets at night if you're trying to do a nighttime raid and be sneaky. Which, if you're doing a nighttime raid and trying to be sneaky, then you most likely don't want to be running around with a glowing rocket launcher, because you're probably not the best player at the game, at least in PvP. For $3.45, I don't think that this is going to make you money off of the Rust store, and I will recommend getting this one off of the community market, or just buying it off the Play Store as a play skin instead of investing in it. So overall, not going to recommend investing in this one for this week. Moving over to the star hunting bow, going for $2.75. Overall, don't really have too much to say about this skin. I do like what it looks like, but at the same time, I don't really like the wavy looking metal stuff on the base of it. Overall, can you start at the base of this gold im? I don't think that this is going to be a good investment at all. I'm not going to recommend getting this one off of the community market or the Rust store. I mean, get off the community market if you really want, but definitely place a buy order. I do think you're going to be able to get this one for cheaper than the Rust store's $2.75. Overall, I don't really think it's a very standout skin or anything like that. I don't think it's too crazy. We've got some pretty nice looking bows on the community market these days, so not going to recommend investing in the Star Hunting bow, and currently it is last on the top sellers, so there clearly isn't very high demand for it. So I'm not going to recommend investing in that one. Moving over to the Toy SAR, I'm actually kind of glad that this came out because I forgot to buy my Rust Autumn Stores cart last week, and so that means I did forget to buy the Tempered, and I'm assuming that the Tempered SAR is not going to fare too well in its value at the moment while this Toy SAR is out, because obviously this has quite a high demand as well. So the toy set is quite successful. It's going for $3.45, but as a short-term investment, I do still think this one can make you money. Come Christmas time or January, I do think that the Toy SAR will be above $3.45. So overall, I will recommend investing in this one off of the Rust Autumn Store or the community market if you want to try and get it for a little bit cheaper. $3.45 is more than what we're usually paying for weapon skins because the prices have gone up, but overall I do think this one can make you money, so I will recommend investing in the Toy SAR for this week, and it is currently only 4th on the top sellers. SAR is obviously one of the most used weapons in the game, and so definitely do think that it's going to have demand once it comes to the community market. Alrighty, moving over to the bombing sheet metal door, and we've only had one bombing thing that isn't clothing or weapons, and that's the bombing sleeping bag going for $3.08. I actually do think that the bombing sheet metal door will probably perform around that price or maybe a little bit higher. I actually do think this is a really nice looking, unique, standout sheet metal door skin. And overall, I don't usually invest in or recommend investing in sheet metal door skins, but this time I do actually think the bombing sheet metal door will be quite a successful choice. Obviously, it's not glowing, so it's not going to be as popular, but it does look really nice throughout the day. So I do think that there is going to be at least some demand for the people that don't care too much about glow for this sheet metal door skin. Going to recommend investing in it. It's only $2.05, and overall I do think it's standout enough to actually go up above that $2.05. So we'll recommend investing in the bombing sheet metal door for this week. Currently it is second last on the top sellers, and I do think that's a good spot for it to be at. When it comes to oversaturation, it's unlikely to be oversaturated on the community market. So I will recommend investing in the bombing sheet metal door off of the Rust Autumn Store for this week. Alright, moving over to the No Mercy garage door, going for $4.15. I do think you're going to be able to get this for cheaper on the community market. I'm just going to say it right now. So I'd recommend getting this one off of the community market with a buy order instead of the Rust Autumn Store, because obviously it's very expensive. It doesn't have any glow, which is a shame because the meta at the moment, and I do think it's going to be like this for a very long time or forever, is that your deployables should be glowing. It's so that you can easily navigate around your base while it's night and you can't see anything else. So overall, the No Mercy garage door is very nice, very popular set, and the skin itself does look very nice. But for $4.15, I don't think it's going to make you money off of the Rust Autumn Store. I do think though it is going to have the demand to stay at this price. So if you can get it for a little bit cheaper now and then resell it during December, January, and that is when you're going to be able to make a little bit of money and then buy a little bit later on if you want to get it back. But overall, I'm not going to recommend investing in the No Mercy garage door off of the Rust Autumn Store, but I will recommend getting it off of the community market for this week with a buy order. And last but not least, we're moving over to the Scientific Sulfur Storage. This is a new skin. We haven't had any scientific stuff like this before, but I do think that it's probably not really going to continue because obviously there's no letter or character on the periodic table for rock or stone or for metal, unless you're actually talking about a specific metal. And so I do think that the sulfur is where this is going to end. It would be cool if they made an Na sodium one, which is salt, for those of you who don't know. But overall, the Scientific Sulfur Storage box is going for $3.45. I do actually think this is a unique looking sorting box, but it doesn't have any glow, and so I do think that that is definitely where it's lacking some potential. If it had the glow, then it would be fat. In fact, it actually might have a little bit of glow. Just looking at these pictures, it looks like it's got some cool like light effect glow. So this actually could be a pretty cool looking large box. If it does have the glow, then I will recommend getting it at least off of the community market with a buy order, just because it is $3.45. It actually does say the skin glows in the dark, so it does glow. Okay, so $3.45 is what it's going for on the Rust Autumn Store. I do think that that is too expensive for this, just because it is a new item, and I don't think it's going to continue. I'd recommend getting it off of the community market with a buy order for a little bit cheaper, but I do think overall this will actually go up in value. because it is definitely a unique and cool looking skin. I do like the science-based skins like this, but I don't see it continuing. So I will recommend getting this one off the community market, but not the rest item store for this week. Overall though, very smart idea, and I really do like this skin. Alrighty, actually showing my cart for this week. That's crazy, isn't it? I did forget to buy last week's cart, which was a shame, but it do be how it do be. So getting one of everything except for the bow and the rocket launcher. Overall, I actually don't mind the rocket launcher, but I mean, I've got so many rocket launcher skins, it doesn't even matter at this point. And as for the bow, don't love it, to be honest. I'm getting one of everything else. I'm getting 3 of the Templar kilts and not really investing in that in anything else besides that really for this week. And even then, I'm clearly not going crazy. I'm only getting 3. It's going to cost me $26.15, so quite a cheap week for me this week. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and remember, have a skits one.
Why? 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 Why?